Hi Izo, how are you?
Hi, Sid. Pretty good. Big hello from Croatia, and thank you for having me.
It's wonderful to have you here. And how are things? I see a lot of your posts. You've been training a lot, coaching a lot.
Yes, trying to do the best during this, as everybody during the quarantine time or Corona time or isolation time. So I turn more towards recording. I've been putting the IMP Attitude project on the side a lot, and now
Mhm.
actually I have more time and trying to do record much as I can. Not just because to record much as I can, but just to train and try to do try to be a little bit better every time because it's not so easy to record it, but it's okay. Magda is also in split Croatia with her coach Mark Geller,
Mhm.
and so I'm helping them everything with the organization, trying to make sure everything goes smoothly there. And every time I have a time between, I love to record, love to call the people, and creating a list of the people I would love to interview, and also doing the podcast like yours. I'm actually pretty excited about that.
Wonderful to hear. And thank you so much, Izo. And I'd like to get started with knowing more about yourself. So uh, tell us about your journey.
Well, the journey started playing tennis in Croatia since I was 10. Played it till 18, normal junior, average junior. But somehow through my friends, I found out opportunity to go to the United States. Yeah.
Mhm.
So once I realized that, I was pretty excited. I was like, that was for me actually going pro. I was like, if I can do that, that would be pretty cool to see. To go to colleges. I saw internet these kind of pictures of possibilities, and my tennis was not so great, but somehow with a lot of passion and desire to go to it, I found college that I could actually play, and they paid my scholarship, and it was in Graceland University in Iowa. It was AIA school, yes,
Mhm.
and it was a great team, great coach. Where I would say going to United States was a big new opportunity for me because I could maybe do something else, try to do something more, because it's very important to explore somewhere else. So you are not fitting in one, I would say, shape. So it's very important to leave your normal environment. Now, when I
Right.
look it back and see, is this who you really are, and is this who you really believe you want to be? And that's what the U.S. gave me, new opportunity to meet new people, to create new opportunities, and it was great 4 years. And after that, went work in a club, and then I realized I could really maybe go to grad school, which I never thought that could happen.
Mhm.
And because of US an opportunity, I could coach at grad school and get my education paid and get the degree. And for me, that was unbelievable.
Yes.
So I went to St. Louis at Lindenwood University, finished my grad school, sports management. Undergrad was business administration. Grad school was sports management. Did that, and then I was like, okay, let me. I really would love to coach. It was something inside of me. I'm like, I really want to coach. So let me start from the bottom. I decided to go to Florida. I called every every club that I could find a job. I said, if I really want to succeed, I need to go
Mhm.
somewhere where it's the best. And Florida for me was the best. I'll start from the bottom, and I will learn my craft. I'm very big believer of learning your craft. Yes.
Right.
So from start from the bottom and build yourself up. And I got a job at Florida at at an academy. Did that for 1 year, and then I got a chance to coach on the tour. I was very excited about that. The going on the tour was very inspiring and very attractive to me. So I was like, I think I could do that. I never saw myself as a professional player, but as a
Mhm.
coach, I really believe I have I have capabilities, and I have certain values that I can really work on that and create some skills to coach somebody. And I got a chance to coach a Croatian girl who was also playing college. She was #1 in college from Clemson University, Animi Achika. She said, you know what, Izo, let's do it. I said, yeah, this would be great. And people who I was coaching in Miami, they said, Izo, this is your chance. I had a great time there, but they're like, this is your chance, this is your opportunity to go there. And we started, man. Also, she started from the zero. She came to top 200. I was working with her for 4 years. For certain reason, family reasons, she needed to stop. Then coach a couple more girls along the way. There was Teresa Mardeja. There was, and then I started Magda Linette. Yes, I started Magda Linette 7 years ago. And that actually turned up into a relationship after 3 years ago. We became boyfriend and girlfriend. Yes, entered the relationship, and that's where I found another coach. But another coach came because Magda and I joined the Star River professional tennis team, and that's where who really helped us in our career was Alan Ma, who is owner of Star River, the head coach, and running Star River Professional Club in Guangzhou in China. And you have there Sai Zhang, you have there Zarina Diaz, Julin. So we have around 5 to 6 top 100 WTA players. Right. We became part of that. And once we entered the relationship, Magda and I decided to move away from the coaching position. I got a coach from Star River, which his name is Mark Geller, great coach, great guy. And he's right now working with Magda for the last 3 years while I am in China and helping around with Alan with, am I at the academy or I'm traveling with somebody, whatever is needed, I'm out there. But unfortunately, when Corona started, I needed to move home. Also, there were some personal reasons. So right now I'm in Croatia, and that's basically my short history. Hopefully that will be okay.
Of course, it was wonderful. Well done. And I'd like to backtrack a bit, if you don't mind. Why don't you tell us about...
No problem.
Sure. Why don't you tell us a bit about tennis in Croatia?
Yes, I can tell you. Tennis in Croatia started really booming when Goran was, we had Željko Franulović, Niki Bilić before that. That kind of entered Croatia and especially Dalmatia, that area, on the big stage on tennis. People start playing tennis. It was very active. Then Goran really gave us that boost. It's always when a player from a country goes high up in the ranking, the sports start being played. Probably you can see that in India, when certain sports are doing good, you can see more and more people playing a certain sport. In small countries especially, so we all start playing tennis. And tennis in Croatia, right now, it's more and more individual projects. Let's say Borna Ćorić is, it's all part of it's a very specific, I will give you a specific example. We are a very small country, and somehow we developed this mentality that, David versus Goliath, okay? So in every sport, we are very, this environment shapes us to be, like we need to be, tough, and we need to fight, and we have that mentality that, like you can see in the World Cup of football, where we finish in the final. You can see all these players playing in the big clubs. Once they come to the big organized club, they really shine. But the real mentality is being built here in Croatia, where you need to fight to make it, so you can actually have a good life. So tennis in Croatia is basically there's a support from federation, but mostly it's a family project. It's a family project. Federation helps you, let's say, 12, 14, 16, tournament. But if you want to make step forward, unfortunately, you need to have a financial support from the family, or let's say a sponsor, and that's where you move forward. But the real, that spirit, that mentality, it comes from a young age where we are like, kind of taught subliminally, you need to fight, never give up. Small versus big, it can happen. You can beat anybody. You just need to believe it and you need to want it. I would say that kind of mentality.
Sure, that's nice to know. And you also covered a lot about the sporting culture in Croatia. because you mentioned
Yes.
the David versus Goliath mentality.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
mean, so many of the players, even, Luka Modric,
Exactly.
not a big name signing for Real Madrid, but he did so well.
Unbelievable. So
Yeah.
you mentioned perfect what I call IMP example. That's IMP attitude. It's basically the story of Luka. He during the war in 90s, he was and his family needed to move to another city because the war. His grandpa died. He was small. People said, he's talented, but he's too small. He's too light. A lot of clubs passed him, but he went to Dinamo, and then they put him in the Bosnian league. It's such a tough league in Bosnia. It's rough. He's small, but he was the best player there. He comes back to Dinamo. He's the best player there. Then he goes to Tottenham, and everybody's like, "Oh, why they bought him?" Then he becomes one of the best in Tottenham. And then he goes to Real, and they say, "Oh, it's the worst signing in the years." And then he wins 4 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, becomes the best player right now at 35, playing amazing tennis, becomes amazing football, becomes the best player in the world with Croatia and goes to the final, and he was always not good enough. And that, for me, is a perfect example of a Croatian mentality and Croatian sport culture.
Wonderful. That's so inspiring. And then breaking the Ronaldo Messi, Ballon d'Or
The streak, unbelievable,
crazy.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. We are talking about 4.5 million people out here.
Right.
I mean, we are not talking about 400 million. We're talking about 4.5 million people breaking the streak that is being held by 2 guys for last, you said 15 years or 10 years. I don't know how many. It's crazy. And then on the basketball side, we had Dražen Petrovic, who died sadly in a car accident that was becoming European Jordan. Then on the football side, then we have Tony Kukoc on basketball winning with Michael Jordan. We have the water polo team. We have the handball team that is a world class. So it's many different sports that for a country of 4.5 million people get surprised. But once you come here and once you learn that everything, it starts with the people, with the environment, and the belief. Because the belief is the most important. These kids, we grow up with the belief. Even me, I did more in tennis than I was supposed to. I mean, I didn't play great tennis, let's be honest. But somehow I just believe, okay, I need to go to the United States. Because I can do it, I can do this. And I didn't go to great school, I didn't play great tennis. But for me, I made the best what I could. And there's much more talented people and much more better. So I think that's the kind of sports culture built here. And also it's sometimes dangerous because you're never good enough, So it needs to be I believe needs to be a certain balance. But that's I believe sports culture here in Croatia. And Luka Modric is for me a perfect example of a sport culture, humble, down to earth, and just doing the best he can.
Sure. And, this mentality also reflects, how many people beat Roger,
Yes.
Borna Coric.
Yes, Borna Coric. Borna Coric, another mentality, you just like such a strong in the head. And he beat Borna Coric beat Roger, Nadal, and Murray.
Right. It's crazy. It's so inspiring. I mean, I'm sure this will inspire a lot of people, a lot of athletes in India, and especially when with tennis and football, we don't do so well in the international stage. So we have a lot to learn from the Croatian mindset.
Yes, but Indian people are hardworking people. It's not easy. Everybody I came across the Indian people I came across very humble, very grateful people, very great emotions, great vibes. And I believe once there's a star that did it, I mean, all these people are going look at what you guys are doing in a cricket.
Right.
It's just like, because because it's already done. It's already been there. Everybody believes, everybody plays. And it's also, I mean, there's many different things, you know, tennis is not so cheap sport.
Sure.
You know, it's entry barrier. You know, if you want to play cricket or football, you just take a ball and take a bat and you can go anywhere. Yes. So for tennis it's not easy, but like on the women's side, Sanya Mirza, I mean, just wow, you know, what she achieved and what she's still doing and giving birth and coming out there, just you know, great example.
Definitely. So, Izo, why don't you talk to us about Magda?
Well, Magda is the person that, let's say, on the tennis court, I'll describe as a tennis player and her qualities. Let's say qualities of a tennis player. This is something that she really amazes me every single day, even now when I know her for 7 years and I know who she is and everything. She has a capability to come every day and do the things that need to be done to be successful. So her level of professionalism is very high. Okay, let's say you can find more talented people out there, you know, or maybe a better stroke here and there. But where Magda is beating those people that are not in top 100 and stuff like that, is her ability to go every single day and do the things that are necessary, such as preparation for the practice, such as preventions, warm-ups, drills, whatever it takes. It's not hard for her. It is something that she knows she needs to do if she wants to get better. And that's something, it's for me a huge talent. Talent for me is ability and being willing to learn and suffer every single day. Because that's what a professional players do. That's why a lot of juniors, when they're transiting into the professional tennis, they get lost, because the values, the core corners of being professional, and that's, you know, that's what professional asks from you, is to be repetitive every single day. You need to do your job even when you do not want to do it.
Sure.
And that's where Magda really, when I saw that, when I started coaching, I was like, wow, this is something amazing, you know. She will come every day, not skip. I know her for 7 years. She didn't skip one practice. She didn't skip one exercise in a warm-up that her coach is asking from her to do.
Wow.
And that's something that is for me remarkable. So the talent that usually people call having a good skill, she surpassed those people on the ranking because she is willing to work on her skill every single day and make it just a little bit better, even when she doesn't want to do it. So I would say that's a great thing about Magda. That's why she is right now 36 in the world.
And she's 33, incredible. That's unbelievable.
It is because she was never a top junior. She was the highest was 23. She was never, you know, people never believe she's going to do what she did right now. I mean, she has 2 WTAs behind her. I mean, she is happy with what, you know, she proved to herself that she can do it, but she still wants to do it. She wants to see how far she can go.
Right.
You know, and that's right now where she's at her journey. She's right now, you know, I know I succeeded at some things that people didn't believe in me. And maybe I even didn't believe at some moments at myself. You have those little doubts, but she kept pushing. She kept spreading the envelope, and now she has different goals, and she's after them. And that's the beauty of you know, of her journey.
Right. And I'm sure she's probably just a win away to break that, you know, confidence barrier to make it to the top 10 or top 5, right?
Well, definitely, I agree with you. I would say great moments of moving forward, let's say to top 20, top 15, top 10, being in a Grand Slam contender. Because in today's world, as you can see in women's tennis, everything can happen.
Right.
Everybody can beat anybody because the physicality and the mental part of women tennis went up together with their skills.
Sure.
So now, before skillful players could easily beat in first 2-3 rounds, top 10 seeds, 15 seeds, they would not lose 2-3 games. Now
Right.
it's a different story.
Sure.
In women tennis, even in the men tennis is happening more now.
Right.
But in women tennis for sure, and that's also I see as a beauty, because every match is, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
This is so for Magda, we are always preparing for those Grand Slams or main draws of Indian Wells from Miami, and you're waiting for that week of you where you're going to have a big win, and that will just kind of click and put your self-confidence on a different level.
Right.
And once you have that self-confidence, you are executing what you already have with such more ease. That's the difference.
Right.
Self-confidence gives you that bridge between you and yourself that you know you can play very easily to cross. And then that's what you call a zone, because you're just playing without thinking. And that's, I agree with you. She played, I think, 3 Grand Slams lost in the 3rd round. So in next 2 years, it's going to happen somewhere where Magda will make, and that's the goal, to make to the 2nd week. And once you enter the 2nd week, my friend, then it's an open ballpark.
Sure.
Everybody believes in themselves. Everybody have a high confidence. And of course, you earn some money, you made some points, and you just feel differently. It's a completely different tournament. Yes. So in today's world of tennis, I believe it's much more equal. It's much more tougher to beat anybody, and any top woman can tell you that. There's no easy match. And I believe women tennis is much more harder mentally, because a lot of people say, girls are weaker. I would not agree with that. I would say they're much more tougher than guys. Why would I would say that? Because women do not have big serves. Usually they don't have big serves. So every game can be a break. So what that means, every game you need to be 100% mentally out there, and that's not easy. The guy, when they break somebody, they can actually relax some games when they're returning, because they usually finish their sets with their serves. Even if they down love 30 in the game, if they pull up some big serves, they can win those games. Girls cannot do that sometimes, not many times. So that's why it's much more mentally exhausting to be there in the match constantly. If you understand what I mean.
Of course, it's very, very interesting. I mean, I'd never really thought of that. And yeah, of course, I mean, you see the men's players, like, they break serve in the first, second game, and then they don't really play much with the returns, especially in Wimbledon and stuff. One break and the set is over. But when the serve is taken out of the question, you have to be right there each and every point. You can't relax during the return games, because you don't know, your opponent may break you in the next game. So you have to try and get the second break and the third break. So yeah, definitely.
Very true. Very true. And that's why, exactly for that reason, that's why women tennis is much more mentally tougher than men tennis.
Right.
And that's why women are so strong in the head. I truly believe that, because to deal with emotions, when you're growing up in the world where when you break somebody, you should be like relaxed, but it's not.
Right.
The next game, the next point, everything can turn around.
Sure.
And that's why the mental toughness in women tennis is so crucial. So crucial.
Sure. So, Izo, do you think any player can become a top 100 through just by hard work and mental training? You think it's what do you think is needed? Top 100. It's been we see so many players from. I'll give the example of India and a lot of countries, Southeast Asia. You have many good players, but it's just so hard to get into the top 100.
Yes.
Even though they're working really hard, even though they're working a lot on their mind,
Yes.
What is needed?
Yes. You need 2 weapons minimum, and you cannot have holes.
Right.
Okay, so you need the two weapons. That's the basic. So we are not going to even talk about physical. So physical base is it's a must. Okay, a professional approach that you're willing to do every single day, whatever, it's a must. Motivation that's already a given.
Right.
Okay, so we are not even talking about that.
Right.
So physically ready, motivation, and a mental, willing to work on yourself. It's motivation. If you're coming on the court and I need to motivate you to work, there's something wrong. You are in the wrong court.
Right.
That's I see a lot of that. Like, today it's not going to work. The tennis is not the sport for the people who are looking for excuses, because tennis is giving you every single day problems.
Right.
Every day. Physical, mental, opponents, pressure, whatever it is, it's every day. You're playing 30 tournaments a year. You're not like like other sports where you have like 6 months off, 3 months. No, it's a whole year.
Right.
You need to be ready for the grind. So there's no excuse. So in the women tennis, I would say those are given, and then you need to develop. You need to have two weapons today, and you cannot have holes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you need to have, usually girls are usually the backhand side is better,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to have a bigger forehand. You need to have variety on your serves. Yes. Variety on the serve, so you can build your tennis, and also the return game, which I see a lot going around. I see a lot of people not working on these aspects, much, let's say on the 15,000s and coming up. And so for me, you need to have two weapons, and you cannot have holes.
Sure.
Two weapons, you cannot have holes, and those three things that I told you that it needs to be given.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And in the end, now this is the thing. There's that X factor, that you cannot explain.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes, I would say, what I learned is that I do not know what I do not know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty for me of life and tennis. Many times I said, this player will never. I told one girl, this player, there's no way she became top 40 in the world.
Right.
Okay, I had my great predictions before. So there is no one way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one way to do it, and that's the beauty of tennis. That's where I go back to Magda. Like, she was not supposed to be where she is right now.
Right.
But she kept developing her weapons. So you need to make sure you have those two weapons for sure, and then you're developing other stuff. And is that you have people who are grinders,
Mm-hmm.
who are willing to grind. You have people, you need to make sure that you know your identity and that you work on that. Also, your personal identity can be connected to your tennis identity. And if that's not, sometimes you need to create your persona when you get on the court.
Mm-hmm.
So Rafa Nadal is a very, very quiet back up guy, but when he goes on the court, he's the bull.
Right.
Yeah. So we need to make sure that your person, when you are on the court, what's the identity, and what do you represent? So to be a top 100, before it was just the talent, but now it's much more things, and you need to. For me, you need to have at least two weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have two weapons.
Right.
So.
Yeah. True. So true. So, do you think people can get closer to their goal through the IMP mindset?
Well, IMP Attitude is it's a lifestyle philosophy that is changing your mind. That is changing it's basically moving people from fixed mindset to the growth mindset, because it's proven that the brain is plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm not telling people what they can become. I'm telling people that they can work on that.
Right.
Okay, it's up to you. It's up to you to decide who you want to be. You know, if I scan your day, where I use IMP Attitude in tennis is I get players to be their own reporter. Like imagine right now, Sid, you had a newspaper guy, reporter following you for 7 days.
Right.
Okay. And they write everything that you do since the morning you get up till you go to bed.
Right.
Okay. And after 7 days, they tell me, Izo, this is a report of Sid. And on those 7 days, I could tell you, brother, where you're going to be in 5 years. If you repetitively do these 7 days.
Right.
So what we do daily is actually our small life in miniature, our life in miniature. So with IMP Attitude, I'm trying to help the people to scan their day and to make sure that their goals are clear. They know what their actions are they taking, their choices. They understand the power of choice, and their small daily disciplines are organized in that day. And that's what I believe IMP Attitude can help. And that's why I start researching people, because I would go on the court and I would see people hitting no problem. They are, you would not see the difference between a top 10 player and top 100 player, Sid. But when they go on the tennis court, they are just better. So something is happening. The mindset is happening. They're clear of their goals when they're on the court. They're clear what they do in between the points. They're clear when they finish the practice what they do. They're clear what they do when they wake up. They're very clear.
Right.
They understand their priorities. They understand their destination of who they're building, what identity you're building, what behaviors do you have? Do you support your behaviors? Does your behavior support the identity you're trying to represent today?
Right.
That's what I want with IMP Attitude. And IMP Attitude stands for impossible. And when you lower the letter M, you get I am possible.
Right.
And that's the whole point. I want to inspire the people to change the perspective. Because once you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Sure.
So when you're on the tennis court and you see a problem and you need to find the solution, you need to know what's your goal, what kind the tactical patterns do you have? What do you want to get out of this tennis match? Do you just want to win, or do you want to become a better tennis player?
Right.
So there's many things. So I believe IMP Attitude can definitely help people clear their goals, have their goals, and learn how to have a better power of choice when they are on the court, and to learn what to focus on when they're on the tennis court. Yeah. Hopefully that answered a little bit. I'm an everywhere.
Of course. And so when you talk about this IMP Attitude, working on your mindset and working on your goals, does it happen overnight?
No, it does not happen overnight.
How long does it take to build the right mindset and, improve mentally?
It's never-ending process. It's never-ending process, because as humans, we also drop the ball sometimes, which is okay, completely normal.
Right.
It's completely normal to drop the ball, but you don't want to do it 2 times in a row.
Right.
Yeah. So the whole point about IMP Attitude and about being mentally tougher is, it's not about are you going to fall to the floor. It's the question is how quick you're going to go back up. And that's what you want to develop when you're building your mind. You want to develop the reflex, we call it flip the switch.
Right.
Yes. So soon as the night comes down, you want to flip the switch quickly as possible, so you have a light in your room.
Right.
You know, so becoming mentally tougher is not like, oh, I'm mentally so tough. No, that's not it. Mentally tougher means like I have a capability to flip the switch immediately when the dark comes.
Right.
And that gives you confidence that you can move forward and then you can deal, because once you develop a certain mental toughness, the problems that you need to solve are becoming bigger. It's not like, okay, I'm so mentally tough and now nothing's gonna happen. No, there's gonna be a new opponent. There's gonna be new problems. There's gonna be new pressure. Before it was like, oh, I wanna be top 100. Now, top 100 is not enough. You're like, oh my God, I wanna be top 60. I think I can enter the main draws of Indian Wells. It's not enough anymore to be 80. It's very funny how the mind changes.
Right.
Mind play tricks on us, and maybe you can relate in your own life. Something that you were doing before, you're like, oh, I wish I was doing it, but now it's not enough. Now I need to do more. So it's always, because our mind always get used to something. Something great becomes good. Something good becomes normal. Something normal, oh, I don't even care about it anymore, because there's always something new.
Right.
You know. So for me, being mentally tough is like going to the gym. Once you stop, you drop. So it's for me, it's a never-ending process. They say, okay, to have a habit, you need 66 days, 99 days, 30 days. For me, if you count it, it's not the way. You need to really have a strong why you're doing some things, and you just keep on doing them because they're important to you. That's what's all about, you know. And I'll ask you, if you stop brushing your teeth, what's going to happen? That's, you know, it's no good. Doesn't matter. You brush them how many times till now? You know, it just that's how I see it. Like mental exercises, visualization, affirmations, writing your goals, doing the breathing, doing the meditation, working out per day. All these small daily disciplines. If you stop them, it's like you never did them.
Right.
You know. So
yeah,
that's how
an interesting perspective.
Yeah, that's how I would see it. You know, there's no quick fix, Sid. We are always looking for a quick fix. You know, I want to have abs in 3 minutes per day. Yeah, right. You know,
Right.
Yeah, right. If I'm going to go after and eat 2 hamburgers, I'm not eating a hamburger, but if I'm eating something and doing 3-minute abs, it's not going to happen. It's all the things together that is giving you a great day. Instead of trying to focus on having a great year, I'm challenging you, let's have a great day by day. String those pearls on your necklace. String them, 1 pearl at a time. And people ask me, how much, Izo? I say, infinity.
Right.
Infinity, Sid. It never ends. You know, people ask me, also work with people, oh, I wanna be a good husband. Well, it's forever. You know,
Right.
It's like you brought her flowers in 1995. You think that still works? Right. It's not gonna happen. So for me, it's never-ending improvement, kaizen, from Japanese word.
Sure. And so when you mention goals,
yes,
what type of goals should they ideally, have? Is it a number goal, like I have to reach top 100 in 2 years? Should they have something like that? Or what do you mean by defining your goals?
Defining your goals, first of all, you need when I start working with a player, it's always you go from the end to the beginning. So if you start working with a player, you need to see at the complete, now we're talking, let's say, in the coaching perspective, you need to see the final vision of how your player should be. Right. Yeah? How did they play? And then you go from that part, you say, okay, on the serve, I need to do this. On the forehand should look like this. Serve should look like this. This physically she should. And then you go backwards and you break down all the steps that are necessary to achieve that. So if you're talking about the ranking and one junior wants to be top 100 junior in 2 years, right now he has no ranking. So we need to put realistic goals. Okay, all the goals that you want to put, don't be shy. If you want to be number one, okay, you want to put that, that's great. But you need to show me all the steps that it takes to get there.
Right.
If you understand. So you need to, let's say in a tennis way, okay, I want to be top 100 junior in the world. Okay, I'm this right now. How many tournaments do I need to play? What kind of tournaments do I need to play? What kind of rounds do I need to achieve in those tournaments? Is it realistic? I play 2 tournaments G1 and I win them and I'm top 100? No, that's not realistic. Okay, right now I cannot enter those. So, and okay, I want to win per tournament 3 matches. Is that realistic? No, maybe 2 matches. Okay, if I'm winning only 2 matches, what kind of tournament? So like that, you break down. You actually show it to yourself realistically how to do it. Because if I say I'm going to go to Pune right now, but I have no clue how to go from my house to the airport, there's no freaking way I'm going to get there.
Right.
So I need to break down the whole trip to the first step that I need to do, because the problem happens when you have, you know, the floor is where you at and you want to get at the ceiling and you cannot reach the ceiling. That's called a gap, and that creates anxiety in people, and they never ever do it. They try it, they see they cannot do it, and they believe that's them. They cannot be better than that. They never even try anymore to jump, but that's not who they are. It's the ceiling is too far. Yeah. So you need to bring the ceiling to the lowest point, right there outside their comfort zone, that with one step, with one jump, they can grab the ceiling and go up. And like that, as a tennis player, you need to build your goals. You need to sit down with your coach and you need to say, I play like this. This is my identity. I have a great forehand. I play 70% with my forehand. The serve is like this. My physical is like this. So you create the identity of yourself as a player and what that player represents. In 2 years, I'm going to be top 100. Okay, I'm going to play per year 30 tournaments. I'm going to start with this. Realistically, when I start playing, I can win 2 matches. Okay, that's realistically. Everything above, it's a bonus. Okay, but you need to put those steps. And then once you do that, once you start making those steps, you will gain what we call self-confidence. Because once you set a goal and you achieve it, you create a self-confidence. A person with a self-confidence is a different person than they started.
Sure.
That's what I tell you before. I do not know what I do not know. I don't know how Sid will be after he wins those 2 matches, because your confidence will be much different.
Right. Right.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, you'll start going for shots that you wouldn't have if you didn't have that confidence. I mean, obviously, as tennis players, we know when you're playing playing tournaments, the first rounds are obviously you feel a lot of nerves, and then slowly, I mean, if you win the first round and the second round, you go to the quarters and semifinals, you feel you can take more risks because there's something inside you that just you get so confident that you just know that if you hit it, the ball's going to go for a winner. And
Exactly. And that's something inside of you, is the knowledge that you did it before.
Right.
Okay? Because self-confidence, it comes from repetition. Repetition comes from practice. And that's why it's important at practice to practice the things that you're not good at the match, and not to practice something that you're comfortable with.
Right.
That's where we need to change the way we come to practice. We need to face the demons. So if you're running backhand at love 30 is going down the line and you are missing it outside the doubles alley, well, that's what you need to practice. That's where you need to be. Don't stay in backhand cross court, not moving any feet, and say my backhand is good.
Right.
So that's something that by setting goals, having clear specific goals on your practice, because once you break down yourself as a player, you will know what you need to do on practice specifically, and then you will go in the match, you will have a clear goals. You know what, I want to make sure I do serve and first shot forehand at least 30 times this match.
Right.
Okay, that's the goal, because the player I want to become plays like that. So you're not going to go in your comfortable zone and just ding the ball around. You're going to say, you know what, I want to dictate, I want to know how to dictate the point. And this is what, so now you're going to measure it on the match. And in the match, probably you're going to do, out of 30, you're going to do 17. Out of 17, probably you're going to win only 6 points. But now we have something to measure, Sid.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because if you do not measure something, you do not improve.
Right.
So we can go back to practice that, go to the next match. And now we are realizing matches is not about winning or losing. Match is about improving. Mm-hmm. You can lose a match, but still improve.
Right.
You know, and that brings you a different feeling and enjoyment to practice.
Right.
Because you're not measured by are you losing or winning. Of course, you measure by that, but you have internal set of goals that you're following, and that completely creates a different person coming to the practice. Because in tennis, unfortunately, we can go back a couple steps back, is you're a good person if you win, you're a bad person if you lose. Mm-hmm. Okay? Right. And that creates cool people, and that's for me a bad side of tennis if you are not paying attention what tennis truly is. Mm-hmm. Tennis is about building human qualities, and you test them by performing a certain skill on the court and competing with others. But Sid, winning or losing is a great guy. Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yeah.
After you win or lose, you're a great guy. You didn't change. But unfortunately, we connect winning and losing with our own personality.
Right.
And that creates how tomorrow you're going to go back to practice.
Right.
And that's why we don't follow up on building a tennis player and the skills, but rather the ego and the name.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Definitely. Most definitely. So,
yes.
Izo, to wrap things
yes.
up, why don't you tell us two things that any athlete who's listening now should start today?
Oof, two things.
Just two
things. Okay. Be clear of your daily goals. So night before you go to bed, make sure you have your day planned.
Okay.
You know exactly what you want to get from practice. You know exactly what you want to get from breakfast. You know exactly what you want to get from every conversation you are engaged. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not clear where you're going, any road will take you there.
Right.
So that's number one. And number two is for athletes. That's number two. There's so many. I would say. There's so many I would say, but so number one is be clear, and number two for the athletes, I would say meditation.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I would say meditation. Because why? Because without anything, you will strengthen you. Because for me, meditation is like this. For me, meditation is a tool, the way to strengthen your mind so you can actually control it and put it in any way you want it. Mm-hmm. For amount of time you want it. Because once you meditate, let's say you do simple meditation of focusing, breathing, following your breath. So what actually you're doing is once you follow the breath, you're controlling the light in your head. Imagine the light, the lamp, and the light is focus. Okay, the light is focus in the lamp. Are you following me?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And the lamp that is holding the light up is your ability to point it out, because in our head we can only see what we focus on. So when you are meditating, you are actually strengthening your ability to point the light wherever you want. Because when people say focus, basically you're focused all the time, but the matter is, what are you focused on? You know? So right now we are focused on this conversation, but in any time you can shift. So it's ability. It's ability, because let's say the player plays, I'll give you an example. They play on the match and they lose a point. The question is, they're always focused, but now the point is, are they focused? They just lost the point, and that focus drives them, oh my God, it's love 15 and this, or they shift the lamp. They have that strength because of meditation, because they could focus on breathing, and that subliminally give them a chance to move their focus anywhere they want later on in the day. Is, okay, what is this opponent doing to me?
Right.
Okay, they're playing on my backhand. I give them a short ball, and they are dictating me all the time. Okay, so my backhand needs to be better. Maybe not in this match, but you know what? I learned from this. So tomorrow when I go with my coach, I'm going to work on my backhand depth.
Mm-hmm.
You see, now your state of mind and your energies are completely different. Why? Because what we focus on is what we become.
Sure.
The guy who lost the point feels like a loser and he hates tennis and what the hell is going on. The guy who decided to move his focus to learn something from the match is actually becoming a tennis player and enjoying being on the tennis court.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's why, for me, meditation from an early age, you start 3 minutes in the morning. It's going to help you many things, as you know, but most important, it will help you to have the grip on your focus. And that, for me, is a key in everything that you do during the day.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So basically, have your to-do list and get your goals, be ready about what you're going to do the next day, and meditation.
And meditation. So know where you want to do, what do you want to get out of the day. It doesn't matter, what do you want to get out of everything that you do. Just write it down, and that will actually be kind of like, oh wow, I'm losing time here. Oh wow, I should not be. So actually, you are refiguring your day,
right.
And then the focus, ability to put your attention for much as you want. I think that's a killer. That's
Brilliant.
a killer.
Brilliant. Izo, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know you have a really busy schedule, and especially with Magda and all the coaching and training she has to do. And it's just amazing. Thank you so much for your time and giving so much of your insights and experience with us.
No problem. Thank you. I'm very humbled, and I'm just extremely humbled that I can speak like this, and that we can share our experience. And like this, I think we all get better when we share our experience. So thank you so much for having me, and all the best to your listeners.
Thank you, Izo. So Izo, please, why don't you tell our listeners where people can find you, where people can find out more about the IMP Attitude?
Yes, thank you. It's very simple. It's at Instagram. I only have, right now Instagram, it's IMP at IMP Attitude. It's very simple. So at IMP Attitude, and my personal Instagram account is Izo Zunic, Zunic, and you can DM me on any account. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. The IMP community is there for everybody. We are there, to inspire each other. So looking forward to have people join. And again, thank you for being part of it. And again, very humbled by this.
Perfect. So listeners, you can head over to Izo's personal and IMP account and follow his pages. And of course, he has told me about some big plans he has with the community. So stay tuned for some great things in the future.
Thank you. Yes, that's right. Up and coming, Sid.
Yeah. Thank you, Izo. Take care.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you so much.